You know who it is. Prophecy Music. We living in the cold world. Cold world, a cold world. We living in the cold world. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. Nobody cares about you like you do yourself. Nobody comes around when you need some help. Nobody owes you nothing, so don't be compelled to hate on the next man, just do it yourself. Tell the devil farewell, Jesus saved us from hell. By his blood and his stripes, we can live to excel. I make it move, Chandel, for the Father won't fail. Get souls to the water like I'm in his cartel. Revolving in life, I'm alarming the bell. Problem solving, so appalling, trusting Jesus and self. In life I heard his calling, now I walk and I veil. In grace to what I face is for his glory, oh well. When I was down and out, I touched the hem of his veil. Power was released and snatched me right out of hell. And now I come to tell the story of it, oh well. Jesus saved me when I was down in my hell. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. When the road gets rocky, believe in yourself. Let God define your life. Cards were dealt, he can make it right, he don't need no help. God's the Abba Father, our infirmities felt. Let him be the author, get your book off the shelf. He's the finisher of faith, giving grace in this race. Live life no haste, but keep your pace. Road long and narrow, but the sparrow leads us just in case. We all taste tribulation, all have sinned. Salvation makes us win when we begin our meditation. In his word, what you heard, get what you deserve when you come and get on God's nerves. Ask for what you want. Give the praise to the Father in your life going through something. We gon' have some fun. Let Christ lead your life to a holy one. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. He's a keeper, he's a keeper. God's no sleeper. He's in my life and he's getting very deeper. Changed my life when I was like a sleeper. Old things pass away, become new, all creature. Leave your past today, God, he will meet you. Halfway on the journey, on your mission, he will teach you. I feature in the church to give him the praise, to let you know by his stripes and by his blood we're saved. By his mercy and his grace, all he gave. Changed my ways in the darkest of days. God did save, give him the praise. Came and saved my life when I was lost in a maze. It's when I seen the light that my life did change. Things rearranged when I renewed my brain. God gave me peace in the middle of pain. Told me some remain, cause it's all for his gain. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul. Living in a city that's so cold. I put my trust in Jesus Christ, he's the way to go. And you can say I have my reasons for this, I know. If it hadn't been for Jesus, Jesus saved my soul.
Face that. So
it was a lot of emotional trauma.
Oh man, it was horrible. Just thinking about it now, I'm getting a little choked up. Just like,
right.
Just it was bad.
Mm.
But you know, my parents, even through that, my parents still like they still shielded us from. You know, they didn't tell me the truth. It's just I had my godfather, which is my best friend's dad. He knew what was going on with my dad because my dad, you know, as I think back on it, my dad would used to be working like 2, 3 in the morning, mechanic, you know, and I thought it was just normal. We could hang out all night, you know, but I had no idea my dad was on meth. So, yeah. So, but my godfather, he wasn't my godfather at the time, but this is my best friend's dad. He like, once we were in that life and I didn't like go to school, like he came and got me and was like, I want you to live with me. I'm gonna give you a job. And I was probably like 12 years old. Wow. And I moved in with my best friend, me and my brother. And
so what happened to your sister?
They stayed with my mom and dad, and that's when my mom and dad came to San Diego. We were up in Central California, a little city called Hanford, California. So it's a small town. So, you know, my dad was a well-known mechanic, and they packed up and they came to San Diego. My aunt had a condo out here, and that's where they came.
So did you stay up there with the guys? So he pretty much raised you.
I stayed over there, but they didn't do it through the courts. I just stayed. That wasn't even like they just picked up and left one day. Because
so they left you without informing you?
No, they did.
Oh, okay.
They did.
I was scared to say.
They just was like,
right.
They wanted to leave to San Diego, and I didn't want to go, really.
Oh, you didn't want to?
I really didn't want to go, and I ended up staying with my soon-to-be godparents.
So did you build up any type of resentment?
You know, at the time I didn't know it. I didn't know it till I got into my addiction. I know that now. But you know, I had such. Well, my godfather, he taught me like the value of $1. He gave me a job. You know, my first job was like watering plants at a nursery, and you know, that's what we had to work. He taught us how to work. Like even at that age, he taught us to work. You know, you have to work. If you're gonna eat in my house, you're gonna have to put in work. You're gonna have to do something. You're not just gonna be not doing nothing. And that was it. We all played sports. You know, I was an all-star in the Little League, Pop Warner quarterback. You know, I right when I got to high school, I could have like did something with sports, and I chose the gang life.
You chose the gang life.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Chose the gang life. So you were introduced to gang life in high school.
Yeah.
Can you think of why you felt like you needed that? Was it because you felt? I mean, because you did have family with your godfather, and usually they say that the reason why individuals get in gangs is because they are looking for to belong. So what happened there? What made you feel like you didn't belong, or that you didn't have a family that caused you to migrate toward that?
So when I got to my godfather's, that was my first time I ever got. You know, I smelled cigarettes, and sometimes like I'll be like, "What's that smell?" My godfather sold marijuana.
Oh, so you found that out.
And he smoked marijuana. So that's where me and his son, like his son was my godbrother. He used to steal marijuana from him, and that's where we started.
So he introduced it to you.
Yeah, that's where we started. That's where we started, and I could actually remember that, like hiding about an ounce of weed, and we got in trouble for it. I remember that it would cause a little. We got in so much trouble.
So it wasn't curiosity or experimenting.
It was. You know, we were around it. We smelled it. You know, my godfather used to make us like clean. He would pay us. I shouldn't say he made us, because he would pay us to like clean the seeds and the stems out and do all that. You know, and this is normal to us at the time. Like, we actually at the time I thought it was cool. You know. I'm like, you know,
this is something you really did.
Yeah. So, but you know, that was like normal to us, you know. But you know, my godfather never sold weed from his house. He used to always deliver. You know, he never got caught for that. You know, he's deceased now. But you know, that's what it was. that's what it ended up being. And from there, I turned to not too long. In the gangs is where I experienced my first peer pressure for methamphetamines.
Mm-hmm. So then, but were you smoking marijuana
daily? Every
day before you did that?
Daily.
You were doing it all the time?
Yeah, it was daily. It went so much daily that where I didn't even I had no interest in sports no more.
So it just took away your dreams and took away your hopes?
Yeah. It was like every day. Didn't even have the urge to, well, you know, when you play sports into like high school and stuff like that, or Pop Warner, you know, they test you. Mm-hmm. So I knew that was.
You knew you were gonna fail the test.
Yeah, I knew that was a wrap.
So you weren't like the ones that do nowadays, or you were aware that you can go buy some other type of product to clean your system out and then be ready in 48 hours or 24 hours or something.
It was pretty much. It was pretty much the way the gang life is in Central California. It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. By the time I was 15, I probably lost like four of my friends in junior high, just from wearing the wrong color. Mm-hmm. It was pretty bad. So you know, that's what I turned to. That and not having my family around. Mm-hmm. I could just remember just wanting to hang with my buds all the time. Mm-hmm. And it was good for like 2 years. I was still in school, but then I started ditching.
Started faltering and getting careless.
Yeah, really. It was trying to be like part of the mix type thing, you know. I just remember I started disobeying my godfather. Mm-hmm. You know, I started disobeying my godfather. You know, I remember him, you know, we started working on the dairy and milking baby cows. And, you know, I remember not wanting to go to work.
Not wanting to do that.
Nah.
You'd rather separate the seeds from the weed, right?
That was already off the table.
That was off the table.
I was already, now I was trying to do my own thing. In the streets. I was already like, in my head, I was like, you know, I could do this on my own. Mm-hmm. So I could take what he taught me and I could do my own thing. And that's what ultimately led to, like, you know, some of my bad influence friends just like, well, you know, that was the first time I got introduced to speed and large amounts of it. And, you know, that's when I got into that. I was probably about 14 years old.
So you were totally independent at that time?
Yeah, I had money, I had a job, and I did this on the weekends. And that ultimately led to using.
But at that time you didn't have any problem with the substance,
no.
Or at least you couldn't see.
You know, at that time, here's the thing. At that time, nobody knew. You know, so it was a weekend thing. You know, Friday, Saturday, and I kept it like that. Until you know, I got in trouble when I was 15. Okay. Through some gang violence. I stabbed somebody for just simply having the wrong color on. And that just goes to show the mentality I was in. And the guy fought for his life for about 4 months. I sat in juvenile hall. And this is where things got a little interesting, because they were trying to try me as an adult because of the gangs. I was already getting in a little trouble. My family out there, so they were going to try me as an adult and try to send me to prison. So my godfather paid for a lawyer, and I actually beat the adult case. But and also the fact that my parents were out of the county and they didn't do legally through the courts. They were going to try to send me to, if I wasn't going to go to prison, it was definitely going to go to a group home or some kind of deal like that. So I didn't have no contact with my mom because I didn't know her numbers. Little did I know that my lawyer was in contact with my mom. So on the day of my sentencing, I had like about 30 family members there. Oh. And I got out.
So their support is what swayed the courts. Yep. Because they saw that you had the family support.
That's exactly.
And that would keep you on the straight and narrow.
Yep.
So did you stay on the straight and narrow?
No. Not even. So what they did was they kicked me out of the county, labeled me a menace to society, and told me I couldn't come back to Kings County until I was over 18. Mm-hmm. And I came to San Diego and thinking I was just going to get like probation or whatever. And once I got here to San Diego, the court system out here was like, well, I don't know who runs your little town out in Kings County, but out here in San Diego County, we don't take lightly to this.
Right.
They remanded me to custody, and I did 2 years in Campo. And man, that's where I actually got into my schooling there. And
what were you?
Well, in Campo, I've never seen nothing like that. It's kind of like a boot camp for juveniles. But you go to school, you go to work, you do things like that. And this is where, now that I'm closer to my mom and dad visit me every visiting. Every visiting, they came to visit me. So
you all were reconciled with that. Did you have any feelings towards them?
You know, I was so glad. It probably been about 3 to 4 years to where I've even had a decent conversation with my parents. And the fact that they were there, I was just so happy, because me being from where I was from, I got into a lot of problems in that system. And you know, my parents came to visit me there's not one visit that they didn't come. They used to bring me food and stuff, and this is where we got to put it out on the table.
That's good. So you're able to put things together and get an understanding, because a lot of times individuals are left out in the dark, you know, especially children. Even like with my grandchildren now, they're trying to sit with me because they want to know some details about our life. And I believe that that's a big part of being able to bring reconciliation into families and close the gap. And because there's a lot of things that we don't know, or why did you do this? I didn't understand, or I was wondering about that, just different things. So that was a good thing that you did there. So when you were younger, you had all this money, all the meth that you used, all of the, you know, the changes that you went through. Do you know how much money you had spent by that time on substance? Were you dealing it?
Yeah.
Or it was just being provided to you? You were selling it and using?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know at that time it was just in the thousands.
Just
in the thousands.
Yeah.
Not too much, because a lot of it was just to party.
Just to give it
just to party. It was just like a social thing. We'd have big parties on the weekend, and it was just like a thing to be like, he got it. He's cool. Look at him, you know?
Yeah.
It wasn't really trying to like get rich. It was, you know, there was a lot of other things going on. It's just, in my mind, I was like, I'd rather have it, not be broke, type thing, and that's just what it was. But ultimately, the gang violence is what got me in trouble. And
that brought you into like
the criminal system.
And basically at the foundation of that, ego.
Yeah.
So the ego that we, I mean, everybody has an ego, right? Everybody has one. However, our ego can be detrimental. And so it was the ego then that got you into the throes of it, and you kept going deeper and deeper